Hello, hello. Um, David here, and just to by quick introduction, I've been doing these videos daily for damn near a year, and they've evolved a bit. They have evolved a bit, and so thanks for tuning in and for your comments and for following us on YouTube and subscribing there and all of that. It's been I've 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 appreciated doing this. I don't know if anybody else has got anything from it, but I do, and because you know I have to sit down and kind of think about it every day, and often you know when I sit to do this, there's nothing there. It's like, oh, what am I, you know, because kind of talking about a subject every day from different perspectives is a bit of a chore. It's not, you know, it comes, but it's a bit of a chore. And so I kind of started out a year ago talking about consciousness and freedom and awakening, and it's evolved. Even though I was reading from this book in the beginning, and still am every day, the 24-hour day book, the theme has been around addiction and recovery, and it's kind of gotten more and more into addiction and recovery, and so if you know, it doesn't matter whether you're an addict or not, or an alcoholic or not. You know, everybody that I know knows somebody or has somebody in their family that is in recovery or struggles with addiction, and so that's the topic. You know, that's the topic. And what I wanted to talk about a bit this morning was that how this is all this is really relevant for me as well, and how we struggle with the old story we have about ourselves, you know, and the difference between kind of guilt and shame. Shame says, I am dishonest. Shame says, I am a thief. Shame says, I am unreliable. And guilt says, yeah, I have stole something, or I have been dishonest. I told a lie. And so the story of the alcoholic and the addict is often full of shame stories. And we somehow, uh, and, and we cover it brilliantly. We do our very best to kind of uh, give ourselves that swagger, like we don't have this, you know. And I watch new guys come around, and if they're not totally beaten, they have, you know, they have this, they try to throw up their little defenses, their little, you know, that, and it doesn't work, you know. But the story is generally, I for the addict and the alcoholic, say, I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me, and we try our damnedest to cover it up, and we can't. And we try to live with it, and we can't. We try to work around it, and it's hard, and we can't. And we go to therapy, and we therapy helps us to see that we have it, but you know, doesn't really help us to alleviate it, to change the story. And you know, the story is, I'm unworthy of love, often, right? And that's the story of the addict and the alcoholic. So what the hell do I do with that? Is and this is, you know, my thing is to be here to point towards the solution. You know, because living in that story, even if we can kind of mediocrely survive, you know, if we can kind of persevere, we're not living in our full potential or anywhere close to it. You know, we're and the theme, because it's in the psyche, is, you know, not good enough. I'm afraid. Who do I think I am? All of those things are in the psyche, and unworthy of love. And so we struggle. The alcoholic and the addict struggles in relationship, right? Struggles in all kinds of things, or tries to really, really boost himself up somewhere to show that he can, you know, he's worthy of something. You know, often the what I call the functioning alkies or alcoholics or addicts, you know, are really good at something, you know, and work or sports or they're really, really good at something, and we're not stupid, but we make some stupid decisions, and so then we think we're stupid, and I don't know where that word came from, but it's a kind of a nasty word, stupid. But we think that I'm stupid. That's that we grew up with that, in many of us, and so how do we shift? Right? How do we possibly shift from that story, you know, and to uh, a story of happy, joyous, and free, you know, of living in peace? How do we shift? Well, there's some work to be done, and but the first thing has to be that we say, okay, I get it. I get it. Yes, I'm the reason my life is unmanageable is because I'm trying to run the show. And I'm trying to run the show from my ego, from my story about myself, my story about life. And to let go of that story is one thing. I mean, to say, okay, I surrender, I let go. But we need to have a path. There has to be a path. And I'm not talking about a new set of beliefs, really. The beautiful thing that I love about the 12-step program is it's not just a new set of beliefs. It actually leads us to a relationship with a higher power in the moment. You know, and now, that was back in 1930s when Bill and the crew, when they wrote this book and they put it together, and it had such depth. But now you look around in the 2000s, and you have like an Eckhart Tolle who says the power of now, be here now. Bill was saying the same thing. Where do we find that power greater than ourselves? Deep down inside of us. And he gives us directions and explains how to access that. How do we get out of our old self, to shed our skin and basically rise out of the ashes, if you will. So Eckhart, David Hawkins talks about letting go of the old, and talks about a power greater than ourselves. They all do, and it's in the now. It's not, it's here right now. It's not, can't be found in the past or the future. So we don't realize that we're not living presently. We're living through the mind, and the mind is always um, judging. The mind is always saying, "Oh, you can't do that. That won't work. Can't trust them. What do they want? What am I going to get out of it?" Those are the stories of the mind, because the mind's coming from lack and not good enough, and I got to get mine, and so what happens is that we recognize that we have to have another source. We have to run our thinking, if you will, through another, um, through now, through the presence, through God, through a higher power, through a concept. Call it love, call it a new employer. So we have to pause and allow this new way of thinking to come into the system, and to begin to live in happy, joyous, and free. So I want you to know that all this didn't come to me naturally. It was a difficult journey because I was stubborn and fearful. That's who I used to be, very fearful, and fear kept me in my old place, in my old shoes, in my old way of thinking. And so love, though, will bust you out of that. So it's there, I'll tell you. But ego, the old way of thinking, will defend itself. Okay, it will defend itself even to the degree of killing us, of taking us back out over and over again. Even though we know we've been to, we have friends in recovery, and we know this works. It works for these people. They're having life. They're having fun. They're they've been reborn, if you will, in a new way. So it works, and we do not have to live in the old story. We do not have to live in fear and guilt and shame and anger. We don't have to be. It can. Um, not define us anymore. It's not who we are. So um, hopefully that's some help, to just share that a little bit with you, and because it has worked for me, and it goes beyond. It really goes beyond into a place of total surrender, into this living in the moment and recognizing moment to moment that I don't know, that I don't know, and that I have to just breathe and be present. And then there's no decisions to make. We don't make wrong decisions. We're not running the show anymore. We um, everything comes from a different place, a place of love. And we're not trying to please anybody. We're not trying to be accepted. We're we're happy. We become really happy with who we are, and but who we are is not who we used to be. It's like, oh, you know, in a way, there is no you anymore. There's this relationship with this higher power that works through you, and so we're not coming from needing anything, or wanting anything, or trying to get anything, or we're not coming from a place of distrusting or being angry or wanting our way or having rights. I deserve this. All that disappears, and we're in the flow, happy, joyous, and free. Okay, I'm going to read a little bit from this book today. What's the date? 22nd of March. And I've been reading from this for a while. And this book was written in 1954. It was published in 54. And it's a great little book. It really is. It's called the 24-Hour Day Book, and it has some great pieces in it. Some of it's a little bit dogmatic, whatever, and some of it has some pretty strong opinions. But ultimately, what this book is to lead us to um, this relationship, moment to moment. The relationship is a moment to moment relationship because it's, where do we find, like Bill Wilson said, fundamentally, deep down inside of every man, woman, and child is this belief in or experience of a higher power, and this book helps, every day, because I think, as I mentioned yesterday, we need to have daily practices to keep us on the beam. Okay, March 22nd, thought for the day. We're all looking for the power to overcome drinking. But drinking was the symptom of our thinking. Using was the symptom of our thinking. So the power we need is to change our thinking, right? So a fellow comes into the 12 steps, and his first question is, how do I get the strength to quit? At first, it seems to him that he will never get the necessary strength. He sees older members who have found the power he is looking for. So that's the deal. In the beginning, what we really want is just to stop using or drinking. But then we realize that it's not the drinking or the using that was the problem. It was our thinking. And there's where we go to work on the steps. The steps help us change our thinking. And not to a new set of beliefs so much, but to a reliance, a God consciousness, an inner knowing, an intuitiveness that rolls in. Okay, he sees older members who have found the power he is looking for, but he doesn't know the process by which they got it. The necessary strength comes in many ways. Have I found all the strength I need? So it comes through doing the work, helping others. And that's the deal. Meditation for the day. We cannot have a spiritual need. We cannot have a spiritual need which God cannot supply. Our fundamental need is a spiritual need, a need of power to live in the good life, the need of power to live the good life. The best spiritual supply is received by you when you want it to pass on to other people. So yes, ultimately, as we get recovered in the 12-step world, ultimately we recognize that early recovery I see is like an apprenticeship. We're like, okay, I'm getting better, so, for me and my family, of course, but also so that I can carry this message to others, right? Get it largely by giving it away. God gives you strength as you pass it on to another person. That strength means increased health. Increased health means more good work. More good work means more people helped. And so it goes on, a constant supply to meet all spiritual needs. Endless, endless, right? That power, the power of now. I pray that my every spiritual need will be supplied by God. I pray that I may use the power I receive to help others. And that's the bottom line. The bottom line. So um, now at this moment in our time together, I'm going to do what I part of how I want to help help direct, be an example of, I don't know, to everybody that that comes and listens to these is to show just for a couple of minutes what it looks like to kind of drop into this quiet place. How do we see and be with that power? Well, we have to shut up. We have to be quiet, right? We can't hear if we don't be quiet. We can't experience it if we're not still. So I encourage you to join with me for 3 or 4 minutes. It's just going to be literally 3 or 4 minutes. We'll drop in, have a little quiet time together, okay? So close your eyes. I call it sitting. We're just going to sit. Some people call it meditating. But even that, let's keep it simple. You know, keep it simple. Just stop. I know you think your mind is so busy. I cannot meditate. My mind is so busy. Well, try. Close your eyes. Drop into the body. Be here now. Recognize that you're in a body. And that you're not only just in the head of this body, but you're also in the shoulders. Right? You're in the chest. You're in the back. You're down in the lower back. You're in the belly. Feel yourself in this whole body. You're in your ass and genital area, where you're part of your hips. You're in all of that. Feel yourself, your energy in this part of, bring yourself consciousness, awareness, focus into your body. Feel your presence in your body. Be here now. Your legs, knees, calves, ankles, feet. In your breath, your shoulders and arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers. You're in every piece, every cell of your body is your energy, your oneness. Your cells are still. Your energy is still, quiet. Your neck, your jaw, just let it relax a bit. Your eyes, just let them drop and relax. Inside your brain and your mind and your skull, just drop in there quietly. We are present. If thoughts come, just gently, ignore them. Just gently let them go. Nothing to do. Just come back to your breath. Drop into the stillness, the isness. No past, no future, no story. So easy, you can do that every day. Every day. Multiple times a day. Okay, I'm gonna leave you, but you can stay. Just stay in this quiet space for as long as you like. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Happy, joyous, and free.